Hi guys. So tonight we're going to be talking about Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and this is going to be a continuation of that activity that we did in class today. So if you remember, we talked about the pyramid and we put some feelings on that pyramid and we talked about some needs and things like that. So tonight what I'm going to try to accomplish through this PowerPoint is to try to really sort of solidify and help you understand what that was all about. So we did the activity. It was super fun. Hopefully you guys had fun with that. And so now we're going to talk about what all that meant. Where did that all come from? So if you remember correctly, we've talked so far in this chapter about needs humans have. I think we're all pretty familiar, that's kind of a very common sense idea that we all have needs that we need met. So we're going to talk about this guy with a way to organize those needs. So Abraham Maslow is a humanistic psychologist. We've talked about humanistic psychologists before, if you remember. Those guys that focus on, humans and why they do the things they do and trying to put all that into some kind of logical sequence. And Abraham Maslow, he decided to take those needs that all humans have and try to make them a little bit more organized, not just, oh, here's a need, what does that mean? So he put these things on a pyramid. And if you guys remember from our activity today, you got that pyramid in your handouts. So hopefully you have that nearby and you can kind of look at that, and I'll put it up on a later slide here. But basically what he's trying to do is classify those needs onto one of those levels of the pyramid. So again, those needs that we've already talked about in this chapter, he's got those on one of the levels of this pyramid. And so he tried to do that to make it a little bit easier to understand where those needs are categorized. So pyramid again. And if you remember from when we talked about this today, there are 5 levels on this pyramid. You can see those here on your screen. And basically, what the idea behind this is, it's very similar to like video games. You have to beat one level before you can move on to the next one. So once your needs are met on one of the levels, then you're able to physically, emotionally, you're ready to move on to that next level. So you really have to go from one to the next. You can't meet them all at once. You have to go in that order. Again, compared to video games, it kind of helps me understand what they mean by that meeting one level before you go to the next one. So again, here's the pyramid. Hopefully you guys still have that handout handy because you are going to need that for something later on. So keep that in mind, but I'll show it to you here. So let's talk about each of those levels that are on this pyramid. So just this level, which is our physiological needs. Those are the things that people need to live. You need these things in order to survive. If you don't get those things, you can't survive. Basically, these needs are your hunger and your thirst. So the best examples I can give you of these are food and water. We've all taken biology classes. We've all learned since we were little, if you don't eat and you don't get enough water, you're not going to be healthy, you're not going to survive, all of those types of things. So that's that first level of the pyramid, those things that you absolutely need to survive. All right, so that one's pretty easy to understand for the most part. The next level is once you've met those needs, once you're fed, once you have water and you're ready to survive, you have your safety needs. These are the things that we need in order to feel secure, safe, and out of danger. So basically the best example I can come up with for that is your shelter. You need to be out of the elements, especially here in Wisconsin. We've got snow most of the winter. It gets really cold. You need somewhere to be protected from that. When we're little, we need to feel like someone is there to protect us. When I was younger, I always made sure my dad locked the doors before we went to bed. Or during a thunderstorm, I always, would go sleep on my parents' floor because I didn't like thunderstorms. Again, that need to feel secure is a really important part of those needs we have in our lives. So if we have that shelter, we have sort of someone there to make us feel protected, then we can meet that need, that level of need, and move on to the next one. So the next level, our love and belonging level. So basically what this is our need to affiliate with others, to be accepted and belong. For some of you out there, you're thinking, well, I'm kind of a loner. And you know what? You can classify yourself as that, but at some point you need to interact with others. You need to feel accepted. You need to belong. And that's just one of our human needs. Now, whichever in school, whichever, sort of group or clique, even if you want to call it that you put yourself in, that's fine, because those are the people that you do feel accepted with and that you do feel like you belong with. So that would meet this level of the pyramid. When we're younger, as we've learned about before, one of our first places to feel that or to have that social interaction is with our family. And as you get older, that family group for most of us is still very important. And for you guys at your age in school, your peer groups are super important. Again, whoever you choose to have as your friends, that's great. That's fine. You know, there's no set requirement on that. But the need to feel accepted and to belong is a very important part of those needs that you have as a human. For some of us, again, that's one person. For some of us, it's lots of people in that group. Again, that's going to look different for everybody. Just like this pyramid is going to look different for everybody as far as who we or where we put ourselves on that pyramid. You need to meet all 5 levels, but how you do that is going to look a little bit different. And then our next is our esteem level. So this is our need to achieve, to feel approval, to gain recognition. For you guys at your age, it's your school life. You know, are you getting the grades that you want to get? Are you feeling competent at the end of the day? You know, do you leave class going, oh my gosh, that wasn't as bad as I thought? Or do you leave class being like, oh, I'm such an idiot? I mean, we've all had those moments, but overall, do you feel competent? Do you get that approval that you need? You know, are your teachers telling you, nice job, you know, great job, giving you the grades you need, recognizing that you've been working hard? And hopefully most of you are getting that met here at school. As you get older, you're going to need that in your job. For me, it's still great to hear from the principal, Mr. Derfler, hey, you did a nice job. He comes in and observes and says, you know what, you did a really nice job working with the kids, whatever that level may be. And then finally, your home life. You know, if you're going home every night, you know, does your family recognize that you're out there and you're making the money and you're doing your best and you're providing? All of those types of things, those are all going to be part of that esteem level. Are we getting the recognition we need? Do we feel the approval that we need? And if we not everyone gets to this final level and will really achieve this full pyramid in life, but that's what we would like to do. For me personally, I feel like I'm kind of in between these last 2 levels because this self-actualization level is the need to fulfill one's unique potential. So for me, one of my goals that I've always had since I decided to become a teacher was to eventually get my master's degree. Well, as most of you know, because we've talked about this before, I'm working on it. I'm halfway through. So these really, the way I like to look at this self-actualization level is the goals you want to achieve just for you, not for anyone else. There's no, you know, ulterior motive for wanting to achieve something. It's just for you, something to make you feel like you've become the person that you want to be. And again, for me, that's getting my master's degree. For some of you, it just depends on where you want to go with your life. What is that goal that you want to achieve just for you so that you can look back and say, I did exactly what I wanted to in my life. So those are the 5 levels of the pyramid. Hopefully these are kind of making sense in you guys' heads. It's making a lot of sense. So you're probably wondering, okay, now what does she want us to do with this? Well, there are 2 things that I really want you to be able to do before you come to class tomorrow. And the first thing is, if you had any questions on this PowerPoint, in this activity, if you got to thinking about some of these examples I've been giving you, I want you to write down those questions. And I want you to either email them to me right now, or bring them with you and ask me at the beginning of class tomorrow so that I can solidify that up for you before we actually do the second part of what I want you to do with this, and that's we're going to take a quiz on this information. I know you guys love quizzes, but here's what that. So there's going to be 3 sections on this quiz. The first one, I'm going to literally take that pyramid you guys have on your handout that I showed you on this PowerPoint, and I'm going to give you a blank one with the 5 levels. And you're going to need to fill in the label for each level. So that bottom one, you put physiological. Okay, and you're going to do that with all 5 levels. So make sure that you restudy that pyramid. The second section on the quiz is going to be matching. And basically what I'm going to do is on one side, I'm going to give you the 5 levels. On the second side, I'm going to ask you to match a specific need with that level. So for example, maybe I would put food. And then hopefully you guys know by now that you would put that under the physiological category, or you'd match that up. The last section of the quiz, I'm going to dig a little bit deeper into what you know here, and I'm going to ask you to compare and contrast in 250 words or so the physiological and the safety needs. And the way that you're going to get full credit on this one is if you explain what each of those mean, explain what the difference is, and then use examples of each one. And if you can do all of those things, then you should get the 40 out of 40 points that this quiz is going to be worth. So again, thanks for watching this tonight. Hopefully you had fun with that activity today. If you have questions, make sure you get those to me before the quiz tomorrow, and make sure that you study that pyramid so that you're ready for that quiz tomorrow. Thanks, guys, and have a great night.